Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, hour 3 kicks off right now. Halftime is over with. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start here on this June 9th. Coming up in about, let's say, 15 or so minutes, we'll catch up with RJ Cardinal. We'll talk some college sports with RJ here, so looking forward to that. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears? Get it off your chest and let us know. All right, reach out to us, 715-830-1912, or chime in on the video stream chat, the Section 105 chats. It is also a I'm not saying, but I'm just saying Tuesday, as John says. I'm not saying that Jake Bowers is an all-star starter, but I'm just saying that he should be on the all-star team. I would co-sign that 100%. He's probably not going to be a starter, but how do you argue with the numbers that he's putting up this season? That he is not an all-star player. 286, 12 home runs. Come on now. Right now, so first of all, let's get to voting here. Bowers, legit case. Contreras, legit case. Terang, legit case. Even Kyle Harrison struggled yesterday still. Legit case. Jacob Mizorowski, legit case. 5? Probably going to have, I would say, 3 to 4, but should be 5. I hope they get 5. That'd be awesome. We'll see, though. But keep those coming. Keep them coming. Let's get, okay. I'm just kind of looking up some other Christian Watson stuff to see where it's at here. Okay, so Watson's deal. I went through the cap hits here because now that we've got some of the numbers, we've got some of the more info here. 2026 cap hit, $10.5 million. 2027 cap hit, $11.5 million. 2028, $24.5 million. I'm just rounding. 2029, $29 million for a cap hit. And then the final year of his deal, if he makes it that far, $26 million cap hit. So, let's put this in perspective then. What does it all mean, right? Well, first off, we've got with this cap hit for this year, it's about 3.49% of the team's cap space. And you got like 3.57. Then it does jump up. You're talking about double here. But I think it's better to put it in a perspective comparing it to other receivers and just seeing where the market is at. So like this year, 2026, his cap hit of 10.5. Where does that rank with other receivers out there? Christian Watson would be 22nd. 22nd in the league at 10.5. I'd take that. Wouldn't you? I'd take that. So Chris Godwin, for example, his cap hit this year, 33.7. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 33. DK Metcalf, 31. Devontae Adams, 28. All right, but we know contracts, cap hits maybe go up a little bit higher later on in the contract, like Christian Watson's does. So, okay, what about 2027? And these could change, obviously, with new deals and that stuff. With his $11.5 million cap hit next season, where would that rank? It actually goes down. 33. 33. Justin Jefferson entering 2027, and this is probably going to be adjusted, but he would have a $49.5 million cap hit. CeeDee Lamb would have a $46.1 million cap hit. Nico Collins, 42. Brandon Ayuk, who still in the roster, would have a $41.5 million. Alec Pierce, who just signed that deal this offseason, $35.2 million cap hit. Christian Watson, not this year, next year, 33. Okay, but 2028, it jumps up. You're right. And he does move up to 15th in 2028. This would be his third year into this deal. And he still would be 15th. And odds are that might drop. That might drop into the 20s after we get more deals with some of the younger wide receivers and some other receivers coming in. There's a good chance that that could still drop down into the 20s. So that 2028 season, when his cap hit jumps up to 24.5, you're still talking 15th, but a very good chance, I think, to even drop further. All right, well, what about 2029? That's his biggest cap hit on here. That's $29 million. And remember, salary caps been going up every single year, right? Well, right now, which is 3 years from now, he would have the seventh highest cap hit at $29 million. But that's going to fall. I believe that's going to fall. After you've got some of these younger receivers maybe going to be making some bank and such. And then 2030, way down the line, when he's 31 years old, $26.2 million cap hit. I'll just bring this one up because we can here. And that would be the fourth. But again, there's not a ton of big contracts on the books yet at that point. However, if the Packers decided to move on from him, they could with only a dead cap hit of $6 million, so they would save $20 million in cap space. And as we know, there could be maneuvering, restructures to create more cap space and such. It is essentially a 4-year, $92 million deal. 31 guaranteed, up to $18 million in incentives. I'm not saying that this is a complete bargain deal, but I'm just saying that this is a really good contract, in my opinion, for Green Bay. When you put it in perspective that way. When you break it down and you compare it to other deals, current deals that are out there, I'm not saying that this is a complete fleecing by the Packers, but I'm just saying that this is, I think, a very, 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 very fair, very favorable contract for the Pack. Is there still some risk because you look at Christian Watson's injury history? Sure, why not? I mean, there's always going to be a risk for any player, though. Even the healthiest player in the world, all of a sudden, something could happen. We don't know that. We can't predict that. But for a lot of fans, what do they want to hear from contracts? A lot of times is, performance-based, incentives. Okay. This contract is full of them, too, because it could get up to $18 million reportedly in incentives. I think it's a very favorable contract for Green Bay now that we got those cap hits out there. I mean, the first 2 years, 10.5 and 11.5. And then, in a couple of years in 2028, when the salary cap's going to be bigger, you can kind of do some adjustments and such. Yeah. I think this proves it even more that this was a good deal for Green Bay, in my opinion. So is Matt LaFleur a top 10 head coach? Pro Football Focus thinks so. In one of their pieces from a couple days ago, they ranked the NFL's 10 best head coaches entering the 2026 season. They read it off as across the NFL landscape, there are a number of ways to measure a franchise's capabilities, including star power, recent track record, and ownership competence. Deeply interwoven in that fabric is a team's head coach. Although head coaches aren't the players executing on the field or wholeheartedly overseeing roster construction, their power remains transformative. From installing league-shifting schematics to finding ways to overcome injuries, a coach is one of the best tools any organization can wield. Weighing a mixture of a collective body of work, success over the last few years, and play-calling abilities, below are Pro Football's 10 best guides entering 2026. Sean McVay was number 1. Andy Reid was number 2. Kyle Shanahan, number 3. Mike McDonald, number 4. Dan Campbell, number 5. Number 6, Matt LaFleur. Number 7, DeMeco Ryans. Number 8, Sean Payton. Number 9, Mike Vrabel. Number 10, Jim Harbaugh. So, what did Pro Football Focus have to say about Matt LaFleur? Taking over for a franchise. I know some fans are probably going to just chuckle at this line and roll their eyes, but this is from Pro Football Focus. Taking over for a franchise legend in Mike McCarthy might be imposing for some, but not LaFleur. In his 7 seasons with Green Bay, LaFleur has posted a tremendous 76, 40, and 1 clip, including making 6 trips to the playoffs. LaFleur's background as an offensive mastermind has clearly manifested with the Packers. In his tenure, Green Bay ranks 3rd in EPA per play and touchdown drive rate. Whether developing Jordan Love into a star or finding ways to win with Malik Willis, LaFleur has kept the team's offense in football's upper echelon by remaining creative schematically. It's true that LaFleur hasn't realized amazing playoff success as of late, losing his last 3 contests and securing his last victory during the 2023 season after starting with consecutive conference title game bursts, in particular last year's blown lead to the Bears in a wild card round defeat spurred job security talks. Those seemed a little brash for a consensus good coach, but clearing that late January hurdle would vault LaFleur into a higher stratosphere, and he should have the talent to make a strong attempt again this season. All right. We'll throw that out for your consideration in your debates. Let's take a quick break, and let's talk some college sports with RJ Cardinal. He's coming up after these few words. Summer road trips create some great memories, but sometimes accidents happen. If a fender bender puts a dent in your plans, you can trust Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire to get your vehicle looking like new again. Their experienced team provides quality collision repair and attention to detail that helps restore your vehicle and your peace of mind. So when life bumps into your vehicle, you can count on Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. All right, so we've been talking a little bit about this here this morning, but I want to get our guy, Mr. RJ Cardinal's thoughts on this Texas Tech debacle. Well, first things first, RJ. Good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning. Doing pretty good. How are you?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Got playing a little golf later on today, so looking forward to that. So going to be on the course.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. So never a bad day on the course, right?
No, never. Even if you play bad.
Exactly. All right, one of the biggest stories in the sports world in the last 24 hours or so, and I know we kind of touched on it, I believe it was last week or the week before, but Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech quarterback, who had admitted, gambling on games, betting on games over the years. The NCAA ruled him ineligible, and now a judge has ruled him back to being eligible, and now you've got this outpouring from everybody, it seems like, in the college world in complete dismay and disappointment. I mean, there's a report from ESPN saying Big Ten officials are expected to discuss in the upcoming days a league-wide mandate to not schedule Texas Tech in any sport in the regular season. So first things first, what was your reaction when you heard this, that a judge ruled him eligible now?
Absolutely laughable that a judge in Lubbock County would have this guy be eligible. And for people who don't know, that's where Texas Tech is.
Yeah.
So, and it was kind of funny. I did see one that says there was two places this could be filed, either in Lubbock or in Indianapolis. And then it said after that, why make this an away game? So, there's some funny things that are in there, but and it's weird because then after that, yesterday, one of Texas Tech's mega donors had said that an injustice has happened and he's working to make it right. So I'm not really sure what's going on. It's like a judge can't look at that and say, yeah, he can play. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
That you can say you bet on your own games, and here's a temporary injunction to let you play college football. And, that doesn't make sense. So one way or another, you have to believe in the back channels something shady is going on. And now you have at least one donor who said he's working to make this right. Across the country right now, even Big 12 schools, the conference they're in, are talking about not playing them this year, taking them off the schedule in all sports. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Georgia has already told all of its athletic department to drop them and not schedule them. I believe Nebraska has individually said that as well. Like you said, the Big Ten is discussing it and most likely will put that out there. Right now, yes, it looks horrible, and it absolutely is. You cannot have – it compromises the sport and shows that athletes can start betting on the games they're playing in or not playing in, because he said he had to do it to make himself feel like he was still part of the team while he was on the bench. But he also bet on games he played in mop-up duty or whatever, but he still played in games he bet on. So, it just doesn't make sense, especially when news comes out over however many years it was and X amount of bets that he bet $90,000. Now, maybe he was winning those bets and he got a good winning percentage. Way to go. Right. But it's clear he might have a problem. And you're just being an enabler here and having it not be a penalty to bet on games you might have a direct impact on the outcome in. So it just, it's a horrible look. Hopefully the NCAA does appeal it and take it to a higher court, where I'm pretty sure outside of Lubbock, the rest of the state of Texas, where universities might be, are probably not happy about that. So we'll see what happens there. But where last week we were talking about Texas Tech putting out a challenge to Texas and buying out their two first weekend games to play each other, I doubt Texas will want to participate in that anymore. So really, this, which who knows who had any dealings with on why this one judge put the temporary injunction in there, I have a feeling we might be seeing a reverse of course pretty soon with the amount of national outcry there is, especially when you have the entire membership minus one school of the NCAA, I assume, is on the NCAA side here.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this, too. He's Brandon Marcello, senior national college football reporter for CBS Sports. He posted this last night. All four justices on the 7th Court of Appeals in Texas are Guess what? Texas Tech graduates. I mean, how does that, that's even a little bit more like that's going to be interesting.
Right? Yeah, it does become a conflict of interest there. I mean, there is a way to recuse yourself.
You're right.
From and in looking at that, I think as you go higher in the courts now, if you are a graduate of Texas Tech, you might want to recuse yourself from this because of now what you see in the District Court of Lubbock or whatever, Lubbock County or wherever it is. But it's not a good look. And, yeah, there might be a time where Texas Tech becomes an independent and nobody's going to play them. And they can spend all their money that they want, have one of the weaker schedules ever, and, just irrelevant. So I think something needs to be reversed here. Cooler heads would probably say it will be, but without knowing the actual legal system, I don't know when, where, why, how that can happen. So, yeah, just a horrible look all around on Texas Tech's part. I mean, at some point, somebody should have looked at him and been like, hey, just don't do this.
Right.
But, I mean, when you're trying to win and go to a national championship, I can see why you would. But I think people who are trying to make money off of him thought, for a time being now, he is above the system. But hopefully that will be rectified here.
We have a texter that just quickly asked, could the NCAA say, okay, you're eligible, but we're suspending you for 15 games, which I don't know if they can, but I could probably imagine then that would also probably go to court and try to reverse that too.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know there was I read somewhere there was a 2-game suspension in there. So I'm not sure where that came from. I don't know if it's self-imposed by Texas Tech, but I'd assume you can then put a suspension on there if you're eligible. Without knowing the bylaws, I don't know if it says in there you can't bet on sports. We talked about it before. Rick Neuheisel was suspended a couple of games for participating in an NCAA basketball bracket. So it becomes one of those, I don't know the rules. I'll have to look them up, see if that's something that's in writing that says you can't do that. And if you do, the suspension is at the discretion of the NCAA or whatever. But, I'd assume you can throw a suspension on there, and then that can be appealed. So, but you'd have to appeal to the NCAA for that. And then we know how long sometimes it takes for them to do stuff, but I feel like this one they might look into it and be like, But then they can put a temporary injunction on the suspension too. So
right.
We'll see what happens, but like I said, hopefully better heads prevail here, and somebody who's not wearing the red-colored glasses of the Red Raiders will look at this and say, probably not the best idea to have somebody who gambled on games they participated in be playing right now.
I was just reading a little bit here. This was from ESPN2 that said that he will still miss Texas Tech's first 2 games, which was a penalty that had been proposed by his own attorneys. So, I mean, that's probably where that 2-game suspension came from.
Yeah, okay. That's probably what I saw then. But I love how it's proposed by his attorneys,
right.
Not even the team, the attorneys. But I'm guessing that was in a whole appeal to just to be able to be eligible.
Right.
Being like, hey, we'll miss the first 2 games. And I know the judge ruled because it was detrimental to his life and livelihood moving forward. I think when it broke that you were gambling on your own games, you knew the inherent risk of what could come of this. So you didn't care about your future and livelihood. I don't think NFL teams will like it much. And it's just it's a crap show all around, and I'm loving the immediate response of athletic programs to just say, hey, we're not playing you. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. And literally, if a team can't get out on the field and get any of that revenue and such too, I mean, does that almost force Texas Tech to make that decision, saying, all right, if teams aren't going to play us, then we can't have you play out there?
Yeah, and that's the thing. What can they do now if there's a temporary injunction to let them play?
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to straight up, if they straight up suspend him, he can't, do you then sue the team you're playing for?
Right.
I it's all this legality stuff I don't know and is above my head, but as you're churning through and you're thinking of things where people have appealed before and been able to play while they're getting appealed, or in terms of Nizer Forkering not being able to play when you're appealing stuff and had an injunction, but then another injunction to say, no, you can't play, but hey, we're looking into it. It's just one of those, Let's see, I saw another one that said, let me get this straight. Back in 2000, 26 players from Wisconsin were suspended because they received a pair of free shoes that everybody in the state could have gotten. But this guy can gamble $90,000, part of which is on games that he participated in or was on the roster for, and he doesn't have to do a darn thing. Mm-hmm. So, it's not good. It's not a good look. It's now we've kind of fallen into what everybody was assuming would happen when NIL is just the Wild West. You have most likely somebody getting paid to make somebody eligible so a team has a better shot at a national championship. Mm-hmm. Who's to say it's not happening more widespread? But, I mean, you don't really get a lot of these things going to courts and things like that where somebody who's in the district of where somebody's playing or possibly went to school where the alleged thing is happening. It's just it's all out there, and it's not good.
No.
We are now getting into the dark side of what NIL has now become. So hopefully there's some kind of legislation somewhere along the lines here where things can get stepped in. And I'm not even saying of what they're trying to pass right now in Congress or the Senate, whichever one brought that bill towards to the floor and all that. But hopefully the NCAA can grow a pair and start making rules on what's going on, where you can put a date on it and say, starting this date, here's what NIL is. And people can get mad about it. People can get all up in arms about it. But what are you going to do? The NFL has rules about you have to play 3 years before you're eligible to get drafted. The NBA says 1. Other sports are a little different, and they're getting affected by possibly the new 5-year rule. Things are all over the place right now, and it's just one of those where the NCAA assumed everybody would just go get paid for appearances and all that kind of stuff, and it turned into now student athletes are on the verge of getting directly paid by the university they go and play for, without contracts and all that kind of stuff. So it's weird. It's crazy, and mm-hmm. We're finally finding a legality issue where it finally got to the tipping point where everybody's not happy, and they're on the verge of revolt against Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm. Before I let you go here, RJ, I know there's been more talk about this. I've seen, some mentions about it. SEC Big Ten Super League. I think we've talked about that for years, and it seems to be popping up again and such. On a scale of 1 to 10, given everything we're talking about in college sports and everything, how likely do you think that would ever, ever, ever happen?
Well, I mean, it seems strange to think about it and have just a 32-team league or 36-team league, but I mean, no different than Major League Sports, who have 30 to 32-team leagues. They can go off and do their own championship if solely for football, but who knows? Maybe they'll actually look and quite frankly, I think the Big Ten can call the shots here, because I mean, if the SEC wants to go do it alone, they're not going to make any more money than they already have. I think people are sick of the SEC. They're sick of ESPN promoting the SEC. They're sick of ESPN saying the SEC is still the best, even though the Big Ten has now won 3 national championships in a row, pretty much since NIL has started. Kind of crazy. I mean, we've talked about it for a long time. Financially, the Big Ten and its alumni are in a better position to put money forth towards athletics than anybody south of the Mason-Dixon line can be. You have the occasional oil barons and all that kind of stuff, but still, Big Ten overall has the most Fortune 500 CEOs, most presidents, all that. And financially, the Big Ten, like I've said for the longest time, is the actual rudder of the ship for the NCAA, where $1 billion from 3 different networks that really priced out every other conference says a lot, where ESPN had to start dumping a lot of stuff to pay the SEC. So, and that's still just one network. ABC, ESPN, they're all the same, and that's where you find the SEC now. So it's they can't go off on their own unless the Big Ten agrees to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. RJ, good stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate the time here, and maybe we'll be talking more about this next week and then such, seeing what happens in the next week or so.
Yeah, we didn't even get to talk about the nice recruiting weekend Wisconsin had.
I know, right?
That Florida State commit that flipped ended up committing to Wisconsin the day after we talked. Had a couple of more defensive linemen, linebacker.
The lineman from Dakota, I think, flipped too. So.
Yep. Yeah. So a lot of players coming in, bumped the Badgers up, depending on where you look, anywhere from like 20th to 13th at one point in time. So, yeah, the class is coming together. I think it shows that wherever the NIL money is coming from, they haven't really said where it's coming from, but there's been a greater commitment to probably lining some pockets here from wherever Wisconsin's NIL is coming from. So, good. You can get excited for this. I know a lot of people don't because of the NIL and all that, but get excited for it. It shows Wisconsin is now being competitive. Now, who's to say if they continue to go on official visits, somebody's not going to offer them something a little more and they flip their commitment? It's bound to happen. You got to live with that in the back of your head. So like I say, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing on these recruiting visits, but I won't get excited until they sign that dotted line come the early signing period or in February. So, yeah.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, we'll hit that up next week unless something else happens after today when we get done talking, which will probably happen too. So,
yeah, it's going to be breaking news right here at 8:43.
Yep, exactly. Well, dude, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll catch up with you next week, sir.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you then.
You got it. There you go. RJ Cardinal joining us here this morning. Always some great stuff with our guy, Mr. RJ. Let's take a quick break. Got to play a little catch up here, and we'll be back after these few words.